Good morning, YouTube. Me, always George Page, aka. Oh, sorry, I slip in there now and then. I gotta remember when I do my regular videos. There's no AKA. It's just always George Page. I might say AKA the Perfect Sage, but that's depending if I'm doing something more perfect. But anyway, this is last night I paid for pay-per-view. I thought I wouldn't do it, but I had to do it because I had to support WMMA. As you know, I do content about WMMA. I do most of my good amount of my content is directed towards women because I love the ladies, but also women need more attention in the sport because they take they'll get a lot of attention compared to the male counterparts. As you know, as I keep saying this, there are 11 million channels that's dedicated to men in sports, but not that many dedicated to women. That's my niche. That's what got me into this. Anyway, last night was Invicta's first pay-per-view. And I watched the pay-per-view from top to bottom. And, it was a great opportunity to watch these ladies. And, it was just to respect. And there were some good fights in this thing. And I know some people have some doubts about women in mixed martial arts. But you know what? Truthfully, these women fight because of a passion. Most of them don't make as much money compared to the men. They don't get a lot of attention. They're not even recognized. But, I recognize them. So anyway, this was the co-main event were for vacated titles for the the bantamweight and the strawweight division, and it was a great fight to watch. Now this was the main card, which featured 5 ladies, and 3 of them on the main card were former UFC fighters, and then you had the prelims. The prelims were shown on Invicta's YouTube page, and also Access TV, so you can watch them for free. So anyway, the first fight on the card was Kayla Yontef versus Carlin Chandler. Now, Carlin is the younger sister of Chelsea Chandler, Chelsea Chandler, who fights on UFC as a featherweight, and this was a featherweight fight. And it was both their debuts for both these young fighters. And I watched the fight. It was pretty good. And, they were going at it, both these young girls. But the thing happened was that Carlin didn't do too well. And by the time the second round, Kayla got on top and just dominated. And the fight was ended by TKO. Which was just she just hitting her and most of the good part of the time the fight should have been ended because Carlin was just wrapping up and she just wasn't defending herself as well. And I think there was a lot of big talk about that she's the younger sister of Chelsea Chandler. But the thing is that, not always, you're going to be as good as your older sibling. My brother was a better football player than I was. So, congratulations to Kayla. And this is another Kayla, winning, and just this month. 2 Kaylas winning this month, Kayla Hype Job Harrison, and, she's already talking about, challenging Carlin's big sister. Girl, you don't have a chance. And surprisingly, she fights out of Wicked John Gym. And I was surprised, but Wicked John started to bounce back, just about, a couple months back. Arlene Blanco won her fight at Bellator, so I think the curse is probably not, rubbing onto new upcoming fighters. Now, here is a lady I've been supporting. She is a fellow Carolinian, and that is one Miss Katie Perez. And I was hoping this was her second fight with Invicta. She fought, was it a few months back when Invicta's had their Phoenix series for the atomweight division. And, the winner of that series was Jessica Dabone. And this was the debut of a fighter by the name of Natalie Celestino. If I got the name wrong, I'm sorry. I was to say Natalie. And, I was really supporting Katie, being that fact she's from my home state. I wanted to win. Well, it didn't turn out too good for her. Natalie was just the better fighter. I mean, one point is that I know you gotta take critique of this. Katie spent too much time trying to go for a single leg takedown, and I think Natalie's fists were just better. What she should have did was just backing up, and because she had the height and reach advantage. That's the thing you should use. When you have the advantage over your opponent, you should use it. And she should have just backed up a good bit and maybe try to, use more, try to do stay with striking. I know that, Katie looked like she was, Natalie had to look like she had the faster hands, but I think Katie could have done better. I generally do, but I hope, this is, helps her rethink of what she's going to do next. I like to see her fight again. Like I said, I support somebody from my home state. She's in North Carolina. She's a fellow Tar Heel. And she's from Greensboro, North Carolina. That's just a good distance from where I stay at. And I'm just hoping that we see her again, maybe back in Invicta. If not, there's also other organizations. And this is the thing I say all this. Bellator, you need to create a strawweight division. And I would say this is your first recruit. I know she didn't do too good in her last fight, but I think she has a good future. So reach out to her and, create a strawweight division. Now, next up, this is the smaller girls at 105. And this was those two ladies who fought in Invicta for quite some time. Caitlin's Saul versus Marissa Massa Blanchia. And both these ladies were contracted one time to fight at the same atomweight series a while back, but what I heard that Caitlin had issues with visa. She was in Canada, visa issues, yada yada. She couldn't fight, so Marissa was called up the opportunity to fight. And she fought in the series, and she did pretty good. She got as far as about the semis, so she lost to the current title contender Jessica DeBone. And this was a pretty good fight, and I think Caitlin was doing pretty good. Caitlin was backing up, moving around, throwing a fist. I mean, she, for every one blow that Marissa throws, Katie threw 2 or 3. And you can see if you watched it, you see how red and distorted Marissa's face was. But surprisingly, it was a split decision and was in favor to Marissa Blanchard. And I didn't agree with this. This is another. I've seen this is happening too often. I'm seeing these robberies. This is the 3rd or 4th robbery I've seen in this last few this year. I mean, recently with the one with Miranda Maverick versus Macy Barber. There was one with Joanna. I forgot her name. Was it? Against Vanessa Porto over at Bellator. I mean, the problem is with atomweights, they have no choice but leave hand judges. You're not gonna see a lot of knockouts because these are smaller girls. They're gonna be a little faster pace. But only way you can really win in the atomweight division, truly win, is by submission. You're not gonna win by knockouts. But like I said to Katie, best of luck next time. This thing also, she trains in the same camp as Conor McGregor, Foster Lucky Charms, they call him. So it's a bad luck for anybody from Conor's camp, not knowing, Conor got knocked out by Dustin Poirier and then her losing this fight, which was a fight she should have won. I don't know. This is the thing we keep talking about. These judges are not real MMA judges. An MMA fighter would see that this girl was doing better. She was on her feet. She was backing up. She was, one point was it, I think, Marissa did get a takedown, but, the takedown wouldn't count as much. No, she didn't get a takedown. It was just, I don't know. I forget who got a takedown. I think I remember. Yeah, I knew who got a takedown. But still, this was a split decision that I don't know what the judges were seeing. I'm just telling you. I mean, I'm not a judge, but I'm a person who sees fights, and I think this was a fight she should have won. Now, the last fight on the prelims was Katie Sampson's versus Hella Peralta. Now, Helen fights at BKF, at a bare knuckle fighting championships. She didn't fight for the last couple of years, and this is also this was for strawweight, I believe. Strawweight, yeah, I think it was strawweight. No, this is fly. This is flyweight. For flyweight. Oh, get me corrected. And Caitlin is the only person to hand it. My dear friend Miss Chantel Killer Coates, aka Miss 23 Seconds. Her fight lost on Invicta. That was a while back. And this was a really, really, really tough fight. I mean, I think just my thing is I disagree that it just truthfully this was just Helen's fights all the way. Being she fights over at a bare knuckle, and those women, I'll tell you, you gotta think about it. They just got a little bit of tape on their hands, and it's mostly just fighting bare knuckles. And I think she was just the better fighter that night. She just really put a whooping on Caitlin, and she won this fight by unanimous decision. There was no, you watched the fight. There was no way that Samuelson was going to pop back up and win this fight. It was just a dominant performance by a tougher fighter. And, congratulations. This is probably maybe a climb up for her in the flyweight division. And maybe opportunity, maybe a couple more fights along the way. She might even get a shot for the title, which is held by Karina Rodriguez. Now, here is for the first fight on the main card is a former UFC fighter, Liz. Sorry, let me get a name right. Got a name right. Lauren Mueller versus Serena De Jesus. And, these two ladies, like I said, bantamweight division, is second biggest division in Invicta. You got the feather, you got bantam, you got flying out on down. And it was a pretty good fight. These ladies were going back and forth. A lot of opportunities to, see who could been the better fighter. I think, to me, De Jesus was doing a little better job. Mueller was doing all right. But like I said, this is about fighting. You have to really put on a real good fight. Really, you got to really be dominant. And this fight was just going in the favor. It was kind of just you wouldn't know where it was going to go in. But from where I was looking at it, De Jesus, Serena was doing a pretty good job. And one thing she should have did was she cut her hair because she wanted to make weight. What she kept doing in the fight was pushing her hair back. Braid your hair anyway. Unless you cut your hair so close where you don't have to worry about it, braid your hair anyway. Or you're just tender-headed. But, she won this fight by split decision. Again, tough break for Lauren Mueller. She's been on she's been out of action since 2019. Her last fight was back in the UFC. They cut her after, I think she was on a 2 or 3 fight losing streak. I think 3 fight losing streak. And, this is a tough break. I mean, you're thinking you come here to Bellator, you would do a little better. You're coming back home. Now, this is another fight, which was the second fight on the main card. And it's another former UFC fighter, and that is Jody Escobar versus Liz Titan Tracy. And this was at 115 strawweight. And I think, to me, Tracy was the bigger girl. I mean, she fought at Fly. She fought against KGB Lee, or I like to call her K Lee. And, I thought this was an opportunity. This is also another fighter who has been out of action for a while. Jody, she was on a losing streak when she got to Bellator. I mean, when she got to UFC, she was on a losing streak. And this was an opportunity maybe to bounce back. But truthfully, this was not her fight. I mean, she was really taking this fight was kind of close. Really would say it wasn't really, I wouldn't say call it close, But if you look at the fight, Jody took a lot of damage. Her eye was already blackened. She was bleeding from the mouth and the nose. I don't know why they call it a split decision. It looked more closer to a unanimous decision, but it was a split, and so it was in favor of Liz Tracy. I think Liz is she's a big girl. She's a tough fighter. I think she's closer more to a flyweight, but she made, she barely made 120, 115. She was like 117. So, if it was just 2 pounds over the weight limit, and I think with Jody, she was just a pound over. But I think she might make the decision to go back to fly. If you're gonna have, just be careful. If you have another fight and if you don't make the weight, then you're not gonna make no money. So congratulations to Liz Titan Tracy. Sorry. Now here we have a former flyweight contender, and that is Brogan Sanchez Walker. And, she made a return after taking a couple of L's. She lost to Pearl Gonzalez and also she was on a 2-fight losing streak. And she was going to fight against Mara Romero Barella. And, Mara was a former UFC fighter, and she got cut just, was it last year? This year, I forget. And, I'm going to say this. How should be that case? For you who don't follow CS Combat Sports, my man, Coach Shayton Harrison, it's a little inside joke we have. Was a while back, Mara was busted on a drug charge. I don't know was she involved or just by guilty association. The story is she got off, And this is the debate always. If you live here in the United States, you know that if you get busted on a drug charge, unless you know somebody or know somebody knows somebody, you either had to snitch or you were just completely innocent. So I'm just curious. That's why I always say whenever I hear Mara Barella, how she beat that case. I know everybody's gonna love it from CS Combat Sports and my LGBT family. But anyway, this was an opportunity for Brogan to climb back up. Emily King became the last minute replacement. Because, and she fought at strawweight, I believe, but this was a chance to fight and fly. And Brogan, they went to the ground this fight. And Emily put her into a crazy kind of submission. I think they called it a bucket submission, where she took her legs and she was holding her arms and tried to submit her. And that was, it was kind of weird. But, what Brogan did was just she was doing her knees. At one point, she hits Emily King in the face with one of her knees. The referee stops it and takes a point. And then they put her back into position. And, I'm thinking like this. Why put my position? Let me just stand up and just finish up. That was just a weird thing. But anyway, Sancho was able to break out of the submission, the attempt submission, and slapped a rear naked choke in the first round. And she won by RNC. So this is a good thing for Brogan. She's going to climb back up into the opportunity to fight for maybe a title, I think maybe 2 more fights down the road, she might even fight for the flyweight title, which is held by Karina Rodriguez. So good luck, Oh, she's pretty. She's cute. I think she's married too. She's got a nice body. Then we had the co-main event. And this is the fight which should have been, to me, in my opinion, the main event. But you know how things are, And this is my dear friend, a dear lady I'm a fan of, one Miss Tanisha Triple Threat Tennant. Yeah. I've done quite a few videos supporting Tanisha. As you know, she should have been UFC on Conto, but we know what happened. It's kind of like what happened to her was kind of like the version of the Calgary school job what happened to Bret Hart. And she faces against bantamweight contender who fought for the title a while back. Lisa Verrazza. I'm not going to say, I'll say Lisa, the Battle Angel. And Lisa's a tough girl. I'm going to say she's a tough girl. Her and Julia Stodorico had the bloodiest fight, not in women's MMA history, but just in MMA history in general. It was a bloody fight because at that fight, end of it, we were saying this girl had got 50 stitches in her face, on her face. She had her face was split right there down the middle. And this is a tough girl. I'm going to say she's a tough girl. But Tanisha, she had the height and reach advantage. She just peppered Lisa with a lot of jabs. She kept backing up. A few times Lisa slapped her against the cage. But, even when she got the cage, Tanisha was just throwing knees to the body. She was hitting her with shots. Right about the first round, her ass was almost out. Lisa's ass was almost out because the fact was she got hit around maybe about the last 30 seconds of the first round. And she was just struggling. And then she got saved by the bell. I would say Tanisha just needed 10 more minutes, 10 more seconds. She would have won that fight. It would have been over in the first round. But, it ended at the end of the last round, the 5th round, which is the championship rounds. They fell down, and then Lisa tried to attempt a submission. She was out on her feet most of that fight. And she was and like I said, Tanisha just dominant. She was just dominant that whole fight. And like I said, I'm a fan of hers. I sent her congratulations. She said thank you. I appreciate when I send something out to these fighters, and they really appreciate me, they're supporting them. I love that. That tells me that they really appreciate us as a fan. And like I said, this fight, as was a co-main event, being one of 2 women of color, black women, to the headline MMA event. We know a while back we had Angela Hill and Michelle Watterson. And everybody was like, oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. But the fact is, it needs to be talked about it. In our community, this is something good, especially seeing that black women are so few in MMA. And like I said, congratulations to the new champ, Tanisha Triple Threat Tennant. Now we had the main event, and that's a fight for straw. To me, this should have been co-main event, but you know how it is. It's about, I think the strawweight division is the most popular division now, especially over there in the UFC. It's the crown jewel over there. As it used to be, it was the bantamweight division, but after Rousey left, that division kind of went stale. And that's why I hope Tanisha gets the opportunity to go over there. She might shake it up a little bit. And this is Emily Ducote versus Danielle Dynamite Taylor, and I'm a fan of Danielle Taylor. She was back in UFC. She was on a 2-fight losing streak, and they cut her. But where her other former UFC compatriots, Jody Escobar and Laura Mueller, were on more longer losing streak. But like I said, I'm gonna tell you this: it's not about the content of the fight; it's more about the complexion of the UFC. And they still fight somebody after 2 fights. I mean, there's other fights that happen too, but this is the thing where I want to point out to anybody who knows pay attention to MMA. And this was like I said, the main event. And it was just starting kind of slow in the first round, feeling out each other, seeing how they're going. I was really rooting for Danielle Taylor because this, like I said, it was going to be history that seeing 2 black women, become champions. As you know, the strawweight division was vacated, as you know, and Emily, she has fought for the title before. She fought against Madara, who's now in the UFC, who won by split decision. And she also was supposed to fight a while back against Montserrat Ruiz, but because, issues with somebody had the virus in their camp and the fight was canceled, and then Montserrat was picked up by the UFC. I don't know when you pick up Emily. I don't know. How it is. And this is how the fight ended. Damn. And really people say it was ended, halfway through the fight by a head kick, but not actually. I saw the fight. Emily threw a heavy overhand right alongside Danielle's head. Danielle was already out on her feet. She hadn't fallen. And Emily just finished her off with the kick. The kick wasn't really the one that ended the fight. It was the overhand right across the temple of Danielle Taylor. And Danielle was just standing there. She was like doing a robot almost. And then Emily just hit the kick and she just fell back. And she was out on the mat. I would just say, damn, no. So I hope you're happy, you haters, of black women in MMA. And I know Emily, I think she's Spanish or something. I'm not sure. And, so there's a good chance now that Emily's going to get picked up the UFC. UFC is quick to pick up a strawweight than it is for any other division. Even though Invicta is no longer under the behest of the UFC, there's still organization that can recruit fighters. And, there's a good chance that after this win, she's going to be going to the UFC. They're probably going to use her to be a flyweight, but she should fight in a strawweight division. That's where she belongs. So now Emily Ducote is a new champion. But to quote congratulations, Emily. This was her third chance to win for the title. The first one she lost against Matara, and the second one because of what happened, because somebody got virus and got the virus. Her fight was canceled, but now she's officially a champion. I know she's happy, and there's a good chance that we might see her in UFC maybe next year, if not the end of this year. So this is to my beautiful lady, Miss Danielle Taylor, my sister. I'm sorry. You were kicked out of the UFC because of bull crap. And then just the opportunity to fight for a title, and then you lost. I'm sorry. I reached out to her. I sent her to IG. I would love to. I told her, win, lose, or draw, I would love to do an interview with you. And I hope she will. I mean, I hope she's somebody who follows her, shares this video, reach out to her, let her know that I'm a fan. I support any black woman in a sport such as MMA, and I support you, And like I said, Dynamite always packs a lot of power, and you have that power. It was just it wasn't your night, and maybe we get you back. Maybe you get a get back. Get an opportunity. I don't know how Victor works. If it's not like UFC, maybe they give you a rematch. So let's just hope that, we just call hope. So good luck to my sister, Danielle Dynamite Taylor. I mean, I love you, sister. And now we have here the new bantamweight champion. Congratulations to Tanisha Triple Threat Tennant. Congratulations, girl. Congratulations. You earned this. You wasn't that 2 years ago you fought in that Phoenix series for the bantamweight division, and you beat all 3 girls in one night. And then you took that little detour, and it was an opportunity. You should have been in the UFC by now, but we all know it's about the complexion of the fighter, but not the content of the fighter with the UFC. And to Dana White, you bald-headed, crusty, Lex Luthor-looking mother, you got to pick Tanisha. The bantamweight division over at UFC, other than Julia Pena and maybe a couple others, is stale. They need some new blood, and stop pushing people like Baylor Maliki and Macy Chiasson in a division they're not belong in. They should be at 145. They don't belong at 135. The reason why Baylor Maliki got knocked out because she was underweight. I saw her on the weight scale. The girl she was about to faint, and the reason why Macy Chiasson keeps having these injuries because she's killing herself, squeezing it at 135. Go 145. Just go up there. Fill up the division. I know Dana White would hate it, but hey, you'll see more knockouts. You see more, bigger women represented, But Tanisha, you should be. But we all know what's going to happen. You're going to sit there in Bellator for maybe 2 or 3 more years to lose the title. Dana White, he's just stupid. He might try to call you to fight at 145, but he shouldn't. You should fight 135. You should fight one of the bottom 15 girls. You are a great fighter, a great person, a great representative of our community. Like I said, there's so few black women in MMA, and we need more. I need all you young black ladies who have a passion for fighting. MMA is the way to go. Boxing, it's not as much as it used to be because they don't give you enough money, not enough support. You get more attention with MMA you do with boxing. So like I said, congratulations to my sister, one Miss Tanisha Triple Threat Tennant. I hope maybe in the future I get an interview with you. I'm going to show this, send this video later on when I'm done and setting it up. And I want to wish you best of luck. I know you're enjoying. Big up to New York, and big up to you, Tanisha. So this was a great show. I would say it was on pay-per-view. I know some people don't want to pay for it, but all you got to do is go on Facebook. Go on YouTube. You can just type in the names. You can find it. You can get it for free. That's what I do sometimes. Sometimes some guy recorded it and posted it so we can find it. Anyway, this is me all the way, George Page. Don't subscribe. I'm out.